Welcome to Steel Forged in Fire, Sword and Knife. On this channel, we support our U.S. veterans. Veterans, there's a place for you here. There's a number in the description of all my videos if you are in despair. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. How you guys doing? So before I get into the video, I just want to give my sincere thanks to everyone who supported my channel, all of the new subscribers that had joined my channel of late. And also for, you notice, when I'm wearing my clothing apparel here, I have a Blade Addict shirt, okay, with the saying in the back, Blade Addicts, I don't need no help, I just need more steel. So thank you to everyone who ordered this shirt. I'm thinking people are really loving it out there. I'm getting a lot of orders on this shirt, this Blade Addict shirt that I designed. If you guys are interested in ordering this shirt, just message me on Instagram, or you could send me a Gmail, which I'll leave it on the screen here, and send me a message, and I will put an order through for you. But just keep in mind, these shirts run a little bit small, which I found out the hard way. I definitely need a size larger. They definitely shrink after wash, but whatever you're comfortable wearing, definitely order a size bigger than that, or maybe 2 sizes bigger than that, depending on how comfortable you want to be in your t-shirt. Thank you to everyone who ordered a Blade Addict shirt. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And to everyone who joined my Steel membership, great big help, guys. I really appreciate everyone who joined the Steel membership on my channel. Under the join tab, you'll see it on the video. Definitely a big help in just keeping the channel going, taking care of just influx of expenses and cutting materials. And if you guys are YouTube creators, you know what I'm talking about. And sincere thanks to all my new members. So with this video, guys, this is actually an answer to a tag that I got from Scab, from Choirboyz Cutlery, which did a video of this in terms of something that actually was started from Ultimate Knife Search. Really good dude. He started this up. A lot of people jumped on board. He tagged somebody, they tagged somebody, and the circle goes on and on. But this is actually really cool. If you guys know me, I don't really answer the challenges or tags that often, but you know, I'm very selective. This was cool. I like this whole idea of this. You don't want to call it a challenge, but maybe just kind of a invitation to share what you got and show off what you got and what means something to you. So I believe the premise of it was originally to pick 2 knives that are the most sentimental or valued to you. They could either be sentimental and valued, or just valued to you. So one or the other. One of them, I believe, has to be a folder, and one of them should be a fixed blade. So that's kind of what this whole mess of knives that I have on the table here, which it was very hard for me to choose, to really break it down. Some weren't too hard, some I knew right off the bat. But when you kind of start putting your stuff out on the table and seeing what you got, and you know, all of my knives mean something to me in one way or the other, whether they be a great carry, just a great quality knife, something that was gifted to me, but I'll get into all of that. So I'm going to attempt, okay, to kind of go through some stuff and really narrow it down to the one folder and one fixed blade that really I treasure the most or has the most sentimental value to me. So I think it's one or the other. Thank you to Scab from Choirboyz Cutlery for tagging me and involving me in this. I really appreciate it, buddy. And thank you to also Ultimate Knife Search for starting this off. This is kind of really cool. So I'll see if I can decide to tag somebody at the end of this video. Let's see how this kind of thing works out. So hopefully I don't make too much of a mess out of it. So starting with the folders. So the folders was really tough. I do really like all my folders for one reason or another, so it was really hard to kind of narrow down exactly which one it's going to be. So I'm going to go through a couple of them and see. I'm going to try to make a decision probably on this video, because I couldn't make a decision before as far as which is going to be my most sentimental, most valued folder to me. I have to start with cold steel. The AD10. Okay, the AD10 is literally my first cold steel knife, okay? My first real solid gripping workhorse of a cold steel knife. This is everything that embodies cold steel. A very rugged work knife. can definitely handle the task in front of you. I mean, I like cold steel, but especially with their locking mechanism and the toughness of their blade, the toughness of their handles, their G10, the tempering of their steel, regardless of what steel you get from them, they just have a history of really having great heat tempering right out of the box. Cold steel kind of symbolizes to me of a knife that can kind of handle whatever you throw at it, and it's going to basically pick itself up and keep on going for you. And it's kind of a testament to life, you know. Life knocks you down and you kind of get up and you keep on going and you just kind of weather the storm. So that's a cold steel. It kind of weathers the storm and it keeps on going and it keeps on working for you. A great, solid work tool, okay? It's definitely not the best, you know, one-handed operation. You can definitely manage, but it locks, guys. I mean, the triad locking system is absolutely fantastic. Great snap to it. Love the blade, the wide body blade. This is by far my favorite cold steel knife. I love the grip of the handle. The handle is just, for some reason, this fits my hand absolutely perfectly. I mean, I could hold this thing all day, work with it, chop with it, and it just, I never find any hot spots or any fatigue holding it. It is absolute pleasure, a pleasure of a handle to hold. But I have a lot of knives to go through, but definitely, this is definitely a contender, okay, as far as my top most valued folder. Another cold steel, guys, this is the Recon 1, okay, Recon 1 with that beautiful Tanto tip, SR S35VN, like the AD10, really high quality steel, okay, also a very, very comfortable handle. This was my official shower knife, okay, if you recall my short. So this is definitely a great knife. I love the baked on black finish. I mean, it just, even when working with it, it does a great job. And if you've seen other people's videos who really use this to go camping, it is really a workhorse of a knife. Okay, again, amazing triad lock system. It's privileged, this knife, to have that, but this is definitely one of my favorite cold steel knives, and it will always be one of my favorite cold steel knives, the Recon 1, okay, from Cold Steel. Love it. On the lineup has to be the Voyager. Voyager, listen, it's not the very most practical knife. OS 10-8 steel, which is great, makes it also a lot more affordable. If you really want to intimidate someone in front of you, you definitely want to pull out this knife. I mean, you won't realize basically the size and girth of this thing until you actually open it up in front of somebody's face. So if you want to intimidate, this is definitely a knife to go. But it's definitely not the most reasonable EDC that you want to carry every day, but still a great cold steel knife. My off-grid knives, I love my off-grid knives, okay? This is the Rapid Fire Coyote, fantastic zippy knife, the very pleasantly overbuilt knife from off-grid. Absolutely love this knife. Again, incredibly comfortable in the hand, probably even a little bit more comfortable than AD10, but close contender to it. Again, no hot spots, wonderful wide body blade, really sharp out of the box. I love that Cryo D2 tempered steel that Off-Grid uses. They just very well built, very solid knives, and I love them. So this is definitely a great knife, and it definitely is up there on my contender list there. I love my Off-Grid knives, but this particular off-grid knife is the Rhino, okay? Again, that Cryo D2 steel. Look at that beautiful blade, that sloping blade, okay? Really different from a lot of things out there. Again, pleasantly overbuilt, really comfortable handle, very solid locking mechanism, liner lock. But I do love this knife, and one of the reasons why I really like this knife, because this knife was gifted to me. And when knives are gifted to me, I value them more than knives I buy for myself, because when somebody takes the time out and takes, you know, basically goes into their pocket and gives you a knife, it means a lot to me. It really does. It humbles me. It sends a message of friendship, and especially from someone on YouTube that you never met, but I physically met Jimbo, okay, down in Florida with the Salty Barbecue, but I'll leave a link to his stuff as well. Jimbo's a fantastic dude. Hit it off with him as soon as I met him in Florida with Scad. Really dynamite guy. Can't wait to meet you again, Jimbo, and eat your food, but I really I'll always treasure this knife because it was a gift, and I happen to really love it. It is really my favorite EDC to carry of late, and I don't know, it's going to be tough. It might be actually the Rhino from Off-Grid. Great knife, great movement, great detent on it, okay, falls into place, zips right out. never fails on me. Love, love, love this knife. Very impressive looking knife, and it handles whatever task you give it. One of my favorites from the past is my SE Avispa. Okay, this particular SE is just great motion on it. I love the actual frame lock. In terms of what frame locks go, this is a very, very good frame locking system. Okay, very powerful. I love the stainless steel on one side and the G10 on the other side. I love the look, the feel, the handle, extra sized handle. I love big handles. I'm a really big fan of handles, but the SE Avispa is definitely one of my favorite carries of all time. Okay, without a doubt. Look at that beautiful, I mean, you can't really feel it, but yeah, I can tell you it's got an incredible ball bearing system, incredible detent, okay, very fluid, okay, in terms of the open and close. Really an absolute pleasure to hold. Deep pocket carry, goes in and out of the pocket great, doesn't eat up your jeans. So comfortable to carry, and such a capable, good knife. So the SE Avispa is definitely up there. Then I have another gift, okay. This is the CJRB, I believe it's called the Pala, okay. Really wonderful knife as well. Doesn't have the best movement, but with a little flick of the wrist, it definitely works. It doesn't fall into place as good, but it is so comfortable. I love the carbon fiber on the handle. I love the stainless steel inlays, stainless steel liners. I love that sheep's foot type of blade. Really sharp out of the box. Very easy to sharpen because it's a straight like razor blade type of thing. But this was gifted to me from the Johnsons, Gene and Kayla Johnson. Again, I treasure gifts, and I really appreciate it, Gene, for giving this to me. Again, an act of friendship, and I really love it, and I'll always treasure this knife, okay, because it was a gift. This will anyone that gives me a gift stays with me. I never give it away. It's always mine to keep forever, and I'll always remember it. I'm always thinking about you, Gene, when I hold this knife. But this is also one of my favorite EDC carries. It's definitely in my lineup throughout the week of knives that I revolve around. Love this knife, okay. This is the Pala, the CJRB Pala. One I didn't show you yet, and the reason why I didn't show you yet is because this is probably the one that's going to be my most treasured knife. Now, this is a Bokeh Strike, okay? It's an automatic Bokeh Strike, nice D2 steel. Not that sharp out of the box, but not hard to sharpen, okay? There's really nothing that special about it, guys. You know, aluminum, stainless steel liners, aluminum frame, okay? Automatic, it's an automatic knife, okay? So you have to kind of just, you know, be careful when you open and close it, but it's really zippy on the open, okay? Now, I don't really carry this around too much because it is an automatic, and automatics are not legal in New York State and most states. Some stupid reason. I don't see a difference in opening this up and opening up a flipper. It's zippy, but there's really no difference, but that's a conversation for another day. But first knife I purchased, it may not have been the first, I think one of the first knives I ever reviewed on my channel. So this holds sentimental value to me because this kind of just started me off on doing knife reviews, because I've always been a sword guy, and this was of late the first EDC that I ever acquired for myself, other than having knives as a kid. You know, like I had a Buck 110, I had a couple different old fashioned knives that were kind of taken away from me, or I lost them. I didn't have like a family of knives growing up like a lot of you guys do. So it was most probably taken away from me, or I lost it or something like that. But if I had those knives, they would probably be my most treasured or sentimental knives from having them for so long as a kid. But this would have to be the knife, the Bokeh Strike. Started me off on all of this YouTube stuff, okay, with the knife reviews. The first knife that I ever basically reviewed or purchased of late, and started me all off. So I would say the Bokeh Strike, nothing special about it. Still a great, very capable knife, but nothing that special about it. Budget knife, it's probably about 30-40 bucks, but it does hold sentimental value to me for that reason. So I think it would have to be, out of all these beautiful knives, even though it won't be my favorite EDC to carry or most capable EDC, it just holds that sentimental value to me as far as it's starting it all. And I'll always remember this Bokeh Strike for that reason. All right, so now let's get into the fixed blades. Now, this was a tough one because I do love all of my fixed blades, all of my big buoys and new Tanto that I just designed and is going to be selling at KHI Nepal. All of my bushcrafting knives, fixed blades, beautiful sheets. It was a hard choice. So which one is it going to be? Is it going to be the JD Tanto, which I am working and editing a review. I have some footage I got to shoot tomorrow. So JD Tanto review is coming very, very soon, I hope. Hopefully this week. I'm also doing 2 major shout outs, 2 new campaigns for 2 great YouTubers on the JD Tanto video, so definitely tune into that as well. Is it my most sentimental knife? I think it's kind of too early to tell. It definitely means a lot to me right now because it's the first knife that I ever physically had a hand in designing, okay? In terms of something that kind of went on paper and then just was brought to life, okay, and it's all its splendor and everything about it that I love, the red and black, everything about it. I'll get to all of that in the review. So it doesn't mean that it's my most sentimental knife. I don't know, maybe one day. I mean, depending on where this whole thing goes with me, it may be my most sentimental knife, but at this point, I'm just proud of it that it was kind of brought to life, you know, from paper, from scratching it down on paper to bringing it to life right in front of you. So I think that holds some value to me as well. But is it going to be my D-Bad Preacher? By far, you know, one of the greatest, okay, very unique buoys out there. There's really nothing like it, okay, in terms of the shock absorption, the width of the blade, the really amazingly comfortable handle. I mean, Donnie B All designed this knife. It's a D-Bad design, produced from KHI, which a lot of these are, but he really hit it out of the park with this. I mean, this is definitely a knife I would definitely want to carry with me if I was in the woods, okay, I needed to process wood, self-defense, whatever, okay, this is definitely a great big camping knife that you want to keep at your side. It's not too big in the sheath where it's going to be too cumbersome. I think it's absolutely perfect. Great chopper, great all-around knife for camping, and it's badass, guys. You know what? D-Bad Preacher is definitely badass. Donnie really hit it out of the park with this. So, is it my most valued knife? I don't know. This is the Gator Tail, okay? Gator Tail is also a very beautiful knife, very capable. Not as comfortable as the Preacher, but still a pretty comfortable knife. Great handles. It's definitely a little bit big to kind of, you know, carry around with you, but it's definitely a badass, great knife to own. It's a pleasure for me to own. I love it. I came in close in the chopping competition with Scab in Florida with it. This was my knife of choice, but it's definitely a great D-Bad knife, the Gator Tail. Then you have the Scourge Apocalypse Kukri, okay, from the KHI. This is just one of the most favorite comfortable balanced knives I've ever held, okay, in terms of a big knife like this, okay. Really amazing handle, grips the hand, curves all the way through, has that skull crusher there, okay, made for the zombie apocalypse. In a zombie apocalypse, this will definitely be my go-to weapon for sure, okay. I believe it's either 5160 or 52100 steel. Extremely solid blade, guys. I put my own sharp edge on it. I mean, this thing is a workhorse. I absolutely love this, and it stands for, you know, the Gurkhas. It's in a symbol of the Gurkhas, and I'm not going to educate you on the Gurkhas right now, but the Gurkhas were the baddest ass army out there. I mean, this is their knife of choice. It was the Kukri, and this is a symbolic of that, and I will treasure this knife forever. I'll never get rid of this knife. Definitely one of my favorite pieces that I own, and I love to use it, love to look at it, love to hold it. I love everything about it. Then you have the modified Tanto from K-Bar, okay? Nice sheath on it, okay? Not the best sheath. You got to kind of bend this down, but really beautiful modified Tanto blade. Beautiful black finish, okay? USA made, K-Bar. I mean, it is just a really beautiful, fantastic knife. Great fighting knife, great self-defense knife, great, you know, camping knife. I mean, this will definitely handle your tasks. You know, I put a nice sharp edge on it, so it's a nice slicing sharp knife now. Very comfortable in the hand. Not the best handle in the world. I know there's a lot of people that kind of argue on the handle, if it's comfortable or not, or if it's kind of just made to be a fighting knife so you can take, you know, different grips and all that very quickly. I don't know, but it is, you know, comfortable to the point where it's definitely usable and comfortable in the hand. Not the best in the world, but a beautiful, beautiful K-Bar knife, and I'm glad to own it. Here's my Cold Steel leather neck Tanto. This is like my ultimate food prep knife, guys. Okay, food prep in the kitchen and food prep if I would go camping. This would definitely be a knife that handles it. Okay, beautiful spine blade, spine on here, very thick, very, very capable knife, very, very tough. I chopped wood with this. I did a lot of things with this knife. It went from chopping wood to chopping tomatoes. Okay, it's and garlic and whatever I do in the kitchen with it. It is definitely my go-to knife, and it means a lot to me for that reason. And again, this is one of those knives that has so many uses for me, so it may actually be my most treasured knife. We can't forget Off-Grid. Off-Grid has this Backcountry Coyote. Again, incredibly comfortable and built so well. The machined look of this knife and how it's made from Off-Grid, I mean, they hit it out of the park with this. I absolutely love the contours, the finger index, okay, the finger jimping here, the wide body blade, again, that Cryo D2 steel. I absolutely love this Off-Grid knife. This is a great bushcrafting knife, processing wood, fat wood, and all that. It is absolutely perfect for that task. The right size, the right girth of the blade, the right type of steel, and the right handle for that task. So this will always be one of my favorite, okay, if not my favorite, bushcrafting knife from Off-Grid, the Backcountry Coyote. Out of all these knives, which one am I gonna pick as my best fixed blade knife? So which is it gonna be, guys? Is it gonna be the Cutlery? Is it going to be the D-Bad Preacher? Is it going to be my JD Tanto? Is it going to be my Gator Tail? Is it going to be my fixed blade modified Tanto from K-Bar? Okay, it's not any of these, guys. Actually, the fixed blade that I'm choosing as being my most sentimental fixed blade that really means a lot to me, that holds the most sentiment to me, the most value to me. And I'm not even talking about price value, because really everything I showed you here, guys, is not, it's moderately priced to low budget. And it's not even about price. Value in terms of the value to you, not really the price of the knife, okay? I'm sure if I had like a Medford or something like that, that'll probably be my most treasured knife. But even then, if I had, let's just say, a really expensive fixed blade, I think this fixed blade that I have here will always be my most treasured and sentimental knife. So it's not what you think, guys. Now, you know I'm a sword guy. Now, technically, a fixed blade, a sword, is a fixed blade in general terms, okay? So the fixed blade that I'm going to be choosing is going to be a sword. Now, it's not just any sword. This guy, okay? Now, I won't even be able to get this completely on screen. You see, it even has a lot of fingerprints on it and neglected a little bit. This is the fixed blade that I'm choosing as my most sentimental fixed blade, okay? Now, it's a big chunky mess of a blade. I wouldn't even call it a mess. It's just so embellished. I mean, if you look at the close-ups here, I mean, it's a beautiful dragon mount with the wings on the side as the guard, with the fire breathing out. It's got some beautiful details on the handle. I mean, somebody really put a lot of work into producing this sword, okay? There's so much beautiful details on it. It's got dragons, it's got snakes, it's got skulls. It's got everything that a real man would want in a sword. I mean, it's definitely a bad-ass sword, okay? This holds the most sentimental value to me. Nothing special. It's not sharp. It's probably like 440 stainless steel. I don't know where this was made, where it came from. There was originally like a sticker on here that said made in Spain that kind of scratched out through time. I've had this sword for about, I would say, almost about 38 years now, okay? This sword was the first sword that I ever had, okay? This is what started me off as far as my infatuation of swordcraft, forges, producing swords, steel forged in fire, hence the name. So this is what started me off on my infatuation with swords and swordcraft, in the history of swords, in all historical types of swords, European swords, katana, which is my heart, and everything that comes into swordcraft. This is the sword that started it all off for me. So that holds value all on its own, and this will be with me for life. I don't display this that often. I can't really use it or cut with it. It's not what it's made for. It's a wall hanger. But this particular sword will always mean a lot to me for that reason, because this is what pretty much started me off on my entire venture of swordcraft, which I have been enjoying all my life. studying, collecting, reading about, learning about. It's been a joy for me, and it started me off on my channel, guys. I mean, it started me off on wanting to get into reviewing swords, talking about swords with other people, and it's a joy in my life to basically start it off with this sword. Now, this sword also holds sentimental value to me because of where it came from. This particular sword was given to me from my brother. Now, I hope I can kind of get through this. My brother is probably the best brother you could ever imagine that you could have, okay? He gave me tough love all my life. He's my older brother. He gave me tough love. He was there for me for all the good times in my life, but most important, he was there for me for all the bad times in my life, especially of late. And he was the first person to support me in any way he possibly can to keep me afloat. And I got to tell you, if it wasn't for my brother, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now with you. So he basically is that important to me. So the fact that he was the one who got me my first sword, and it was him that gave it to me, I will treasure this sword for life because of how much value I have in having him as a brother and having him as the person who has basically supported me the most in my life and has got me through so many tough times in my life and is still continuing getting me through tough times in my life. And he's always there for me more than anybody else in my life. I mean, he's pretty much the epitome of family. And you know, to my brother, love you, bro. Thank you for everything you've done for me, and thanks for all your support. And again, this sword, because you gave it to me and it was my first sword, this is definitely my most treasured fixed blade is going to be this particular sword. I don't know the name of it. I used to call it a Conan sword. There was no Conan swords out there when the movie came out, so this was kind of the sword that I said was my barbarian sword. It was my Conan sword. So I'm always going to call this my Conan sword, even though it has nothing to do with the original design of the movie. But this was my Conan sword. It will always be my Conan sword, and this will always be the sword that reminds me of what a fantastic brother I have. And that's pretty much it. That's my fixed blade. So it's this one. This is my fixed blade. Let's put them side by side and so you can see the size comparison. So here's my fixed blade and here is my folder, okay? So look at the size comparison there. I don't think the guard is actually bigger, okay, than this entire knife, so it's pretty crazy. But my Bokeh Strike is my most treasured folder, and this is my fixed blade of choice. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for sitting through all this. I hope you saw some great knives. You enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of these knives, let me know. I don't have anybody in specific I'm going to tag. I would say an open invitation to whoever wants to carry this on. That's my tag from me to you. Okay, if you have a YouTube channel, definitely go out and do it. Just know I tagged you, and and I invited you, whoever you may be. So let's do it, an open invitation to whoever wants to take this up and let us know your two most treasured knives, fixed blade and a folder. So hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for sitting around. I really had fun with this. Hope you got something out of it, and thanks for all the support of my videos, guys. Stay tuned for the JD Tanto video coming very soon. Love to you all, guys. See you when I see you. Next knife, next sword. Have a good one, guys. Ciao.